name is Dominic and welcome to a new YouTube video. If for those of you who don't know me, I run an advertising agency called Adsperformer since 7 years in Copenhagen, Denmark, and I help e-commerce brands going from 7 to 8 and 8 to 9 figures with paid ads, full funnel approach, and so on. So if you don't miss a video, please subscribe and give this video a like or share it with your friends. In today's video, I explain kind of some scripts, or let's call it some hidden gems from my upcoming 100 million ecom playbook. And I want to share a few things with you. So I noted it down here in Notebook LM, and it's not called the AI Creative Engine, but it has a lot to do with it. So in this one, we talk about the 9-figure AI Creative Engine and growth ecosystem, or in other words, the 2026 ecom playbook for $100 million plus. So I had recently a brand from the US. Sadly, I can't say the name because of NDA reasons, which I helped achieve $100 million in 20 months with paid ads, full funnel approaches, with advertorials, all kinds of stuff. And just a quick disclaimer here, the information provided in this ebook or in this video is completely on educational basis and informational purposes. So there's no guarantee that it works out, right? You need to have the backend systems in place. You need to have a good offer, a good product in place to make sure to hit those revenue numbers and especially understanding unit economics. But we don't go into that in this video. So forward to the C-level mindset and the new paradigm in this world. If you're currently paying a media buyer or an agency to optimize your campaigns, hack the bidding algorithm, or find hidden interest groups, you're paying for efficiency you don't need. In other words, media buying changed a lot. It's more than pushing buttons. So make sure that you have media buyers in place that not just media buyers, but also know the technical side of things, but also know the creative side of things, why creatives work, what is a good offer, what is a good persona, and so on. So the truth is, the 2026 e-commerce landscape changed a lot. The last decade, especially from 2020 on, we all remember it, like the iOS 14 update where tracking was a huge problem, changed completely how we track and analyze the backend in the Meta ad account, Google Analytics, and so on. So long story short is you must stop operating like a media buyer and start acting as a system architect and a capital allocator. You build an AI creative engine, govern the holistic unit economics, and empower autonomous teams to execute the strategy. Look, we live in a world where most brands have basically access to AI tools, and you have 16, 18-year-olds that execute and move on a lot. So speed is everything in the game right now, but the problem is speed is not just everything. You need to know what a good creative is and spend some amount of money to make sure it's really converting and makes your ads profitable at the end of the day. So long story short is AI helps you make things faster and build things triple things, the outcome, right? So you can make 100 plus ads per day, but it will not help you if you don't know what a good creative is. So I skipped this part to a degree and jumped to this one. Creative is the new targeting. I think for most of you is nothing new, but if you can no longer tell the platform who to target, your creative needs to find them. So you call out your persona, right? For example, if you're in the skincare area and you target, for example, like young mothers, then you call them out in the ad copy and the creative, right? So in a new model, you show an ad to everyone using broad targeting. So in the past, you used a lot of interest-based targeting. And I have to be honest with you, I still do it to a degree for our clients if they have really specific products where we know, for example, okay, it's worth it doing interest targeting, because sometimes it still helps, even if a lot of e-com owners or agency owners tell you the difference, but it might make sense. What's not going to work anymore is like lookalike audiences. I mean, sometimes they can work, but you need to have really good data to make sure that they actually work. But I would not recommend testing lookalike audience anymore. And then if you launch a video ad that explicitly calls out struggling with puppy training, the creative asset itself filters the audience. The video is the targeting layer. The math of profitability has shifted away from efficiency, lowering cost per clicks we are targeting. Yeah. So let's start with chapter one, engineering high converting angles. The false start is the single most common reason brands fail to see return on advertisement from AI implementation. Marketers type prompts like write 5 high converting Facebook ads, except expecting magic, but receive generic trash. That's what I mean. You can make creatives really fast with AI, but you need to know why your product stands out, what a good offer is, what kind of message you bring to the market, and especially you need to understand the psychology, purchasing behavior of your audience. So, long story short is find out what's already working in your ad account. Make sure you spend a healthy amount of money, best case €1,000 plus, $1,000 plus on that specific ad. And then if you see it's profitable for a week or even longer, and to answer your questions, 100% that will pop up. What is a good ad? How long is a good ad performing? I see an ad doing well for at least 4 weeks, but up to 2 years. So that's hard to say. But I spoke with a Meta rep, and somebody from Meta told me, I think a year ago, that normally between 4 to 6 weeks is like what makes a good ad for them. But it's really depending, right? So it's not just needed that you should write 5 high converting Facebook ads as a prompt. You need to create your system prompt, your master prompt, where you really have an idea of your offer, the pain points, and everything. One method like we used to do is like we scrape positive but also negative reviews on Trustpilot from your own brand, but also the ones from your competitors, but not just Trustpilot, also Amazon. And you connect all of them into an AI, and the AI tells you exactly about the personas, what they like about your product, what they hate, why they buy it, right? So those things help you a lot. And here's the hierarchy. To engineer performance, you must understand the hierarchy of success. The angle, the strategy, the core psychology trigger connecting your product to a specific emotional state. So it's no longer the case where you talk about your unique selling points anymore. Hey, we have with our product you lose weight. It's very generic, right? You need to find that emotional state. In other words, your unique business mechanism. And every business has a different one. The other thing is the concept. So basically the vehicle, the creative format, for example, a founder story or us versus them used to deliver the angle. I'm a big fan of the founder story because humans buy from humans. And if you don't have a brand yet and you advertise to a cold audience, I always recommend doing a founder story in the beginning, and you can do it in different formats, right? But it's very important that the founder is in front of the camera. And then, of course, you have the hook. The first 3 seconds decide if your video is good or not. Or in other case, the first 3 seconds that stops the scroll. For example, with a posture corrector, angle A targets health and pain relief, like hook hears exactly why your lower back hurts at 3 p.m. Or angle B targets status and confidence, hook stop slouching before your boss sees you. The product is the same, but angle B targets a complete different psychology trigger, the fear of looking incompetent. Then you have artificial empathy and the unaware market. So you know those unawareness, or you have 4 product unawareness stages. The biggest opportunity for scaling is selling to people who don't even know they have a problem yet. So it's called the unaware market. You reach them through artificial empathy by mining data trails. Feed hundreds of 3-star reviews and 1-star competitive reviews into your AI to uncover hidden emotional drivers. That's exactly what I mentioned before. Once you do that, you have a deeper understanding of your audience. Another bonus point I want to add to that is basically, when people buy something from your store, then you can do this post-purchase surveys, which basically mean like, hey, somebody bought something from you, and then you send them a survey, 3 to 4 questions: why they bought it, what problem they think they can solve with the product, and 2, 3 more questions. So that gives you an even better understanding why people buy. And I will say the word why a lot, because why is one of the best reasons to find new creative ads. You need to know why they buy, and not just, okay, I bought it. So the messaging matrix, this research feeds into a messaging matrix that outlines the core angle, concept, and hooks, bridging the gap between strategy and production. Before production, calibrate your brand voice by having AI analyze your best emails and founder transcripts. Finally, apply strict kill criteria. Is it believable? Is it visual? And does it pass? So what? Test. So that was chapter 1. Chapter 2 is about how to build your creative operating system. And in most cases, ecom brands operate their creative department like a chaotic emergency room where files are lost and feedback is scattered across Slack. So you need to have your own AI brain where all your knowledge, all your creatives, all your offers, winners, and everything, unit economics is basically storage. If you don't have one CRM system, or in that case, one brain where all your company knowledges are, then you completely lose, because then you lose so much time and your competitors move on and basically get a bigger share of the market. So the unicorn media buyer is extinct. The core driver of your engine is now the creative strategist. I think creative strategist is one of the most well-known or most high demand skills and jobs currently on the market. So who translates the angle into actionable briefs for the production team? They are the architect and AI is the builder. So AI helps you become more productive and brings the speed to the street. Yeah, that was the external insight. 100 million talent recruiting and pods to reach the 100 million mark. Standard workflows fails. Elite brands build autonomous pods consisting of a strategist, media buyer, AI operator, and an analyst. And to hire top talent, do not conduct standard interviews. Instead, give candidates a paid test, send them, for example, 500 raw reviews, and demand a messaging matrix within 48 hours. If they lack this cognitive flexibility, they cannot really manage your scale. And I do it for my own agency. If we're looking for a creative strategist or for a media buyer, we have always 2 to 3 tests before we decide if they're good or not. So we don't care about CV at all. And I think in your case, you should also not care about CV. But it's also important that you give a media buyer, but also a creative strategist or a general graphic designer, their freedom of creativity. So it's good that you have brand guidelines and you need all of that. But in most cases, you should be aware of that. Hey, you hire top A talent and they should bring their own uniqueness and creativity to the table. And then it will perform way better for your brand. Here's to brief to launch the line. Operations must run on a 4-stage pipeline. So first of all, you have the concept, defining angle, hook, and script. Then you have the production. You use AI to accelerate the output. Then you have the approval. I think I'm a big fan that humans still should be the last place where they make the final decision. So strict auditing against the brief, launch, naming, and uploading. Yeah, I think we can skip this one. Chapter 3, I think I will end it with this, otherwise the video goes too long, but I will do a part 2 with it. And excuse me if I'm sometimes not speaking the right words in English because I don't use it daily, and I will make sure that the videos become better and better, but I care more about the content and a lot of value for you guys in the first place. So the AI asset production pipeline, as I said before, the traditional creator bottleneck is the primary friction for e-commerce scaling. In the AI Creative Engine, we stop moving physical atoms and start manipulating pixels. So the high fidelity static generation, so stop prompting for art and prompt for conversion. Use a 4-part structure: context, subject, lighting, camera, and the aspect ratio to maintain brand fidelity. Use in painting to arrest fake AI products, and insert a high resolution PNG of your actual product into an AI generated environment. And you can create this 10 distinct visual angles in under 1 hour. Um, then you have the UGC workflow. UGC, a lot of people say like UGC is dying, it's not so good anymore. Believe me, you need to find the right UGC creators and it's going to do well. But also try to use AI UGC influencers for your brand as well, especially if you have a brand, already. So if you have a brand already, I think it's one of the best things you can do.
Dazu musst du zuerst dein iPhone
Sorry, that was Siri. Captured us. And for example, a supplement brand founder used this to record 20 specific objection handling videos, reducing production time from 14 days to just 4 hours. And it's all possible thanks to AI. And then infinite variations, animate winning statics using motion AI tools like Runaway or Luma for minimum viable fidelity. And treat ads as layers, visual, audio, overlay, and systematically shuffle them to produce unlimited variations without shooting new content. You not just save time here, you also save a lot of money in here. And next time we speak about chapter 4, the 100 million growth ecosystem and influencer marketing. I hope you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you run an e-commerce brand or you're an agency and you're just interested how I implement this for our clients, then book a free ad strategy call in the video description down below, and we speak from there. Thank you very much, and I see you guys in the next video.